What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching today. My name is Savannah and welcome to the long-awaited Disney vlog. And I say long-awaited because those of you that have followed the channel for a while now know that I went to Disneyland almost 2 months ago. This footage is from the end of May, shortly after Disney actually reopened up after being closed for like a year and a half for the pandemic. And I've been sitting on this footage ever since. But as you can see here, just the very first footage that you're seeing is Main Street. So I wanted to include a little bit of this so you can kind of see what the entrance and the kind of the main area of Disney looks like when you walk in. But I'll tell you, we're actually making a beeline for Galaxy's Edge, which is at the very back left-hand corner of the park, because we were lucky enough to get boarding tickets or boarding reservations for the new Star Wars ride, which is Rise of the Resistance. So that's where we're headed to now. We're gonna walk, we walked all the way down Main Street, we went through the castle. This is Fantasyland right now. We're gonna make a very quick little peek into Frontierland because it kind of borders the back edge of there, and then into Galaxy's Edge. So that's where we're headed to now. We actually did spend 2 whole days at Disney, but only 1 day in Disneyland. So this is our second day of the trip, the footage that you're seeing now. The first day we spent at Disney's California Adventure, and I do have footage of that one, but I was struggling to edit it because I don't know. I like Disney's California Adventure. I do. We obviously go and hang out there every once in a while, but Disneyland is just so much better in my opinion. It's what I grew up with. For those of you that don't know, I have lived in San Diego my entire life, and so I have memories basically as far back as I can remember going to Disneyland, and I've seen it change, I've seen it evolve, new lands, new rides, all that kind of stuff. So I just have such a special connection. But here we've made it into Galaxy's Edge. So I did want to include lots of walkthrough footage for any of those that play Planet Coaster, maybe even Planet Zoo. I know I sent some of this footage over to Beyond Drew TV so that he could use it for a Tatooine inspired build. But yeah, just getting some looks at the theming around the land, which I think they did an absolutely phenomenal job. You can see here from the ground, it really looks like those mountains go on for quite a while. That Millennium Falcon is like full size. You can walk around it. That's actually the ride Smuggler's Run is the other ride that's in Galaxy's Edge right now. And the queue actually loops around the Millennium Falcon, and it's really, really cool. But like I said, we are making a beeline to the new area. So what we just entered, or left rather, was kind of like the First Order camp, and this is kind of like the Rebel base, Rebel encampment, whatever you want to call it. And that's where this second ride is. And a kitty! So if you guys are familiar with Disneyland, Disneyland actually does have wild feral cats like this that help control like their mice population. And I've never been able to see one in the park. And I only imagine that because Disneyland was closed to the public for so long, the cats got way more comfortable coming out into public areas. And so that little cat was just kind of hanging there, and the crew was like, yeah, they just hang out. This one in particular hangs out all the time. And it was really cool to see. I don't know. I got excited about it. You might not. But here we are entering the very first part of Rise of the Resistance. And I will tell you now, I do include some spoilers. So if you don't want to see the ride itself, I'd skip forward a few minutes because I did get footage of almost the entire thing. And I am going to show that to you guys today. Obviously, we aren't including any music because I don't want Disney coming after me. But right now you're on a movable platform that's kind of making you feel like you're in a ship. And the whole premise behind this ride is we are a rebel group that has been captured by the First Order. And so you ride this little platform ride and enter into this area, which is the actual ride. And what I liked most, honestly, about this ride is it was super immersive. Like, all these cast members are acting, they don't break character. They're kind of like if you've ever gone on the Haunted Mansion and those cast members are really like solemn and dark and eerie, right? These guys play the role of First Order operatives, and they do it so well. So we're walking down the hall here. The idea is obviously we've been captured. We're being put into a holding cell right here. And then we're going to be broken out and rescued by members of our rebel team. I didn't include that because it got a little dark and it was hard to see. But now we're actually on the ride. And if you'll notice, you might have to look real closely. Look at the ground. There are no tracks. No tracks in this ride. We are in a completely computerized, remote controlled, whatever you want to call it, cart that is just driving itself. This makes the ride incredibly smooth. It's so much fun. And you spin around and you're totally immersed. Like everywhere you look like you're inside a Star Destroyer. You do, because there are things everywhere. Now those stormtroopers up there are a screen, and so they're not actual animatronics. That is a projected screen that you're looking at, but some of the other some of the other characters in this ride are animatronics, and let me tell you, the smoothness with which they've gotten those animatronics to move, I mean, it's really hard to tell if they're cast members or not. All the stormtroopers you're seeing here are all just screens. And then we actually go up in this elevator. I was reading after riding the ride, there's a part later that they actually drop you. They drive this remote control trackless dark ride cart into a kind of adapted elevator shaft like what they use in Tower of Terror. And they drop you. And I had no idea before riding the ride. And I don't normally scream on roller coasters. That drop surprised me so much that I let out a little scream. It scared me. It was so much fun, but it did scare me. So as you can see, Kylo Ren there is a projection, but before he was an animatronic. This is not where they drop you. Now we're going down in an elevator, but he's kind of chasing us around and we're trying to escape. I cut out just a little bit, but honestly, with all the light, the GoPro actually picked up a lot more than I thought it was going to. This is one of my favorite rooms. This is a screen projection of obviously space and, ships fighting and things like that. But it's a screen, but how real does that look? Come on. You look like you're looking out into space. The whole thing is phenomenal. I don't have enough good things to say. I have now ridden it twice because we went, like I said, end of May. We actually went one more time with my parents for their anniversary in June. That's an animatronic right there. That's Kylo Ren as an animatronic. And we were lucky enough to ride it both times, which is not very easy to do because boarding passes get taken up so quickly. This is where we're going into that elevator shaft. So this is like a little escape pod that we're going into. And you can see we kind of go in here. You can hear the things click and lock, and then it drops you. And I was really surprised that I was able to keep the camera so still. My arm was actually just resting. My elbow was resting on the side. And it's so smooth that it's not shaking my hand at all. And my actual arm is resting on the cart itself. It gets a little rough in this part because it's supposed to. In this part, we're now transferred over to a movable platform, which is making you feel like you're flying in the ship, which is things like Star Tours and other kind of dark platform rides like that. I don't know if they have an official name, do all the time. But yeah, and then moving out here, still not on a track, and getting off the ride. So it's phenomenal. If you guys have a chance to go, I highly recommend trying to ride it because it was totally worth it. So now we're walking back through Star Wars Land, just a little bit more, looking around at the areas. Obviously all these shops, we don't really buy anything because we go frequently enough that, I don't need to spend $70 on a t-shirt that has Mickey's face on it because I can buy one on Amazon. So it's not necessarily like a destination thing for me because we live so close. We do go on Smuggler's Run here. However, I don't have any footage of it because it's an interactive ride, and so you have to do things, and it's really dark. Unfortunately, a lot of the dark rides like Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, I don't have any footage inside those rides because the GoPro just couldn't pick anything up. So most of this vlog is going to be walking around Disney and just looking at the area, shops, stores, the queues, the the fronts of the rides, things like that. We did obviously go on Pirates of the Caribbean, which is what we're walking up to now, one of my absolute favorites. And fun fact, this is one of the very last rides that Walt worked on himself before passing away. So I find that really, really cool. I'm really into like the history and stuff of Disney and theme parks and stuff like that. So I like learning little fun facts. But Pirates of the Caribbean, one of my favorites. I've seen it kind of change as they've kind of made adjustments and taken out old elements and added new things and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I might have to look into it for next time, a camera that's a little bit better in low light, because even brightening up the footage, I didn't catch anything. So I really apologize for not getting any of that. But this is exiting Pirates of the Caribbean. It sticks you right out into New Orleans Square. So that is the land that we're walking around in now. And I actually forget where we're going to next. It might be the Haunted Mansion. Oh, it's eating. It's food time. So we're eating at the French Market, which is one of my favorite restaurants there. Unfortunately, they didn't have what I always get. I always end up getting corn chowder there, and it's like my favorite, but they didn't have it. So that was our lunch instead. Then we headed over to the Haunted Mansion and just kind of showing you the front area here, the little pet cemetery that they have out front. I honestly, as much as I love Disney, if you've been to Disney World in Florida, Matt needed a massage. His shoulder was sore from carrying the backpack because I make him carry all of our snacks and things. So that's what I'm doing there. Oh, and baby duckies. I totally forgot. So these little baby duckies were right outside Haunted Mansion. So at this point, we've already ridden it. We came out. And I was actually having fun watching the cast members try to herd them around. And I was just standing here and letting the ducks, walk around and whatnot. But like, look at how many of them there are. They're running all over the place. So anyway, I thought it was pretty entertaining. And just look at how cute they are. They're little fuzzies just running around. One of the staff members like almost stepped on him at one point. And I was like, guys, just stand there. The mom, look at the mom, is like, what the hell is going on? What are you guys doing to my babies? God. Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny. What I was saying before is if you guys have been to Disney World in Florida, I actually like the outside aesthetic of the Haunted Mansion there instead of the one at Disneyland, because it's like a brick, like brownstone style building. And I think that fits a little bit better. I like them both, but I think I kind of like the brick aesthetic better. Now we're going to Indiana Jones. However, because it is such a popular ride, the Jungle Cruise is closed down, or was closed down, for refurbishment. So they have the queue winding all around the queue for Jungle Cruise. So that's actually what we're in now. And we actually get a look at right here. They've got it drained. So I kind of stuck my GoPro up and over the fence because I was curious to see what it looked like. But yeah, it's totally under refurbishment. Not quite sure what they're doing with it, or if they're just cleaning it or whatnot. But heading up to Indiana Jones has one of the most interesting queues, I think, in my opinion. One, because it's so long, but it's just so themed throughout the entire thing. There's always something to look at, but it does get, unfortunately, pretty dark, so I don't include a lot of the queue. Plus, it's just the queue, you're just walking, but, I did brighten up this footage right here. Was kind of the best it came out, but that's really all I was able to get. But you can see on the screen, that was actually the ride. I got to drive because I got to sit in front. That's Matt, drumming on the front of the car for whatever reason. and yeah, it's one of my favorite rides. I love Indiana Jones. And then there's a horsey, because I always love looking at the horsies going around. I like riding the carriage. If you don't want to walk from the front of the park to the main area, the main circle, you can always ride the little horse cart. Now we're heading over to Frontierland, and I do believe we are headed to Thunder Mountain right now, and I do have footage of that because that's not a dark ride. That's an outside train roller coaster, and so much fun. However, I will say we rode it twice. The first time, nearly died of a heart attack because the coaster, we were going up like the main pole, like the main hill, and it stopped. We got almost to the top of the hill and the cart stopped and my heart nearly leapt out of my mouth, and my stomach dropped and I grabbed onto Matt's hand. I was convinced for a second we were gonna die. I love roller coasters, but when something doesn't go right, I freak out. So this was the second time riding it. The first time, the footage, obviously, I didn't drop the GoPro, but I like lowered it because I thought we were gonna be done. So anyway, that was a little fun story, I guess, about the first time we rode it. But here we go. So going through this main tunnel, I did cut out. This is the first hill that we go up. I cut out some of it because it just gets so dark, but we go under this water. Side note, for those of you that have been to Disneyland, do you guys, this is going to sound really weird. I don't know if I want to tell you, but I really like the smell of Disneyland water, of that like chlorine-y water. I don't know. When you go into Pirates of the Caribbean, and when you go under the water there on this ride, it has such a distinctive smell, and it's probably, I don't know, it's probably not because it smells good. I have so many memories looped up in that smell, which is not uncommon, by the way. The way your brain processes things, smell and memory are really closely linked, which is why a lot of people have associations with different smells. But I really like it. So looking at that water, like I can smell that frame when I'm looking at the footage of the water. But right here is where it froze on our first time around. And if you look real quick in the distance, you can see Galaxy's Edge. I think that is a fantastic sightline of the horizon there, looking at all the mountains and stuff from Galaxy's Edge. I think that's really cool. And as they were under construction, I remember going on Thunder Mountain, and you could kind of see a little sneak peek of what they were building, because obviously you couldn't see it from the ground. They wouldn't let you over there, but you could see it from Thunder Mountain, which I thought was pretty cool. And as we turn this corner here, we're going to go up into the mine shaft of the ride. And I don't know if you can tell on the footage, but there's some there's a fallen over oil lamp, which has lit some fuses that are running up alongside the wall, and then it's going to explode at the top with dynamite. This is new in the sense of like all that fire that you're about to see is all just a projection. It used to, and it still might be, but maybe it wasn't working. It's supposed to spit out like some fog and stuff for you, but it didn't that time, but that's okay. Nearly over now. We're going to go around this right-hand turn, and then kind of head back over ourselves and then through the, what's it called? Like the dinosaur bones, the skeleton. That's the word I was looking for. And be done and go past this little miniature town. And it's got like some nice music playing, some like old Western music. And I so wish that I could share the audio from this trip with you guys. But I just know as soon as any sort of music like that starts playing, it would just flag this video and that would be it. Which is a bummer because like I said, I wish I could share it with you. But yeah, that was Thunder Mountain. One of my favorites. Probably not my favorite over, oh yeah, pretzel time. We got a snack. Not my favorite over Space Mountain. If I had to pick, Space Mountain is probably my favorite. I did not get any footage of that though, obviously because Space Mountain is like the darkest ride of all. Oh, hello. Hi, there I am. Kind of. Matt doesn't really know what he's doing, so I'm trying to help him. He's being difficult on purpose, but hi, hello. Kind of sort of see me. I know I have a mask and sunglasses on, but there's your little face teaser, I guess. There's one in the towards the end of the vlog as well. I actually completely forgot I put that in there. So when I saw that, I was like, oh hey, look, it's me. Now we're going on Star Tours. So Star Tours is one that's been there forever, and I hate to say it, so they changed, before they made Galaxy's Edge, they made Star Tours, they made Space Mountain Star Wars themed. And now that they have Galaxy's Edge, I almost feel like they did change, Space Mountain is no longer Star Wars themed, but Star Tours, I want it to go back to the original, that weird little robot, and you know, that it was his first time flying, and for those of you that have been to Disney for a long time like I have, will know what I'm talking about, but I kind of wish it would go back to that, because you know, Star Wars has its own land now. It doesn't need to expand into Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland should be the like funky incorrect, because Tomorrowland was actually based on what Walt Disney thought 1985 would look like. He was way far off, but that's kind of how I want it to stay. I don't think it needs to be Star Wars. Anyway, there I am again. Hello. And Matt, we're on Autopia. And he got to drive. He wanted to drive, so I let him. This, again, is another one of my favorites. It's kind of just a relaxing ride, but it's also kind of a leg workout to, like, pin. So in order to get these cars to, like, go their absolute fastest, you've got to, like, floor the gas pedal. And it's actually really kind of hard to push down. Like, I don't know, as a kid, I must not have ever pushed on the pedal myself. I must have just driven, because my leg gets sore pushing on it. So when Matt wanted to drive, I was more than happy to let him. I can remember as a kid, they actually used to give you a little license. It was a little like paper license card, and you could go in a photo booth and take your picture and paste it on there like a little license. And my dad makes me laugh because my dad still has his Autopia little paper license from when I was like 12 or something like that. It's in his wallet, and he took his old real license and he cut out the photo of it and he pasted it on the Autopia license, and he carries it around in his wallet. And so when we went with them, my parents, for their anniversary, he like whipped it out and showed the cast member, and I was like, God, Dad, nobody cares. But I think that's really cool. I think it's really funny that he still does that. But that just kind of is like one example of like all the childhood memories that I have wrapped up in Disneyland, and why it just, especially, let's talk about it for a second, especially after everything being closed for so long, Disneyland, as, you know, cheesy as it sounds, I guess, is kind of part of my normal. It's kind of one of my normal activities, and it was something that I didn't get to do for close to 2 years. And so being able to go back just kind of really helped, you know, the mental happiness and the feeling of normal and all that kind of stuff. I was so excited to go back. I want to go back again, but, you know, tickets are hard to get, and they canceled our annual pass. So that means I do actually have to buy a ticket each time we go, and they raise the prices and, you know, all sorts of reasons. So I just, you know, I hope that I can go back very soon. We're going on what I think is the very last ride we did for that day. I'm pretty sure. I finished editing this footage yesterday, so I'm trying to remember what is coming up. But this is It's a Small World. And I do cut out a lot of this ride, because this ride I think is like 8 or 9 minutes long in and of itself. And that's a really long ride. So I do cut a lot of it out, but basically the idea behind It's a Small World is you go around and you see all different types of regions from around the world, all different cultures in these little dolls. And all the dolls, all the costumes are handmade and fit to each doll, and I think it's really cool to just go through and see. It's not the most thrilling ride, but it's nice because they have, you know, music from the different regions of the world, and honestly, after you're, you know, going all through and you get to the very end, it has all of the characters that you saw through the entire ride, but they're all dressed in white, meaning that, yeah, we come from all different parts of the world, but it's a very small world, and, you know, we're all people, we're all humans, and it just has, you know, a nice message, a nice little cheesy message to it, but it's true. So I like going on this one. Plus, on a hot day, this is the coolest place in the park. It's like 60 degrees in there. So much so that if you've been walking around all day and you're all sweaty and you go in here, you're going to get real cold. You're going to start to shiver. But it's a nice way to cool off because, like I said, it's like 7, 8, 9 minutes long. Like, it's a really long ride. So it's a nice place to relax. And, you know, if you do it at the very end of the day and you're tired, you got to make sure not to fall asleep. I love these little hula dancers right here. Another fun fact, I actually used to dance and teach Polynesian dance. So one of those little hula dancers is what I used to do. But we made it here. This is the part where everybody's in white like gold theming. So you can see all the little characters. And then as you're leaving, it has the stamps, like little postcards, like thank you for visiting, have lots of fun, stuff like that. So very, very cute ride. And then I think, honestly, from here is just kind of walking through. We went through and got a couple souvenirs. Matt will never ride the teacups with me because he gets really motion sick. So there are the teacups, but we didn't go on them. I love the aesthetic of the teacups, though. And then, oh no, what's his name? He's from Pinocchio the Whale. Oh, I'm such a bad Disney fan. Monstro, thank you. Redeemed myself. That was Monstro from Storybook Land, and it wasn't open because they can't socially distance people on the little boats, which is a bummer because you go through and you see little miniatures. But now we've made it to the gift shops, and we are buying Goofy's candy. These are Matt's favorite. These little, they're like jelly beans but bigger. I think they're gross. This is what I like. I like the chocolatey, cakey, cookie stuff. So we got some stuff of that. And then these are my favorite, chocolate coins. So I had to get some of those. And then walking out, and the sun finally came out at the very end of our day. It was like cloudy and overcast and gross for most of the day. And then just as we were leaving, or a few hours before we left, the sun came out and decided to be a really nice day. So here is an overview of the front of the park. I didn't really get one when we walked in, but this is the train station. So right when you enter the park, this is the very front plaza. And that's it, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please do leave a like, and I will talk at you in the next one. Bye!